All right, hey, welcome to a 2023 tier list video of, I guess, the 2023 products for the TCG release this year. Yeah, so we got everything from S to Speed Duel. We'll just put the Speed Duel products in there right now because they are their own thing, even though they're technically part of the TCG. I don't think anyone's here to find out where Battle City and whatever the Supreme King one was called are on the list. But yeah, so yeah, tier lists. The algorithm seems to like these, and I need some more views. So let's get started. First one is the Dueling Heroes tin, and I think I'm gonna take this a little bit hot take to start. I think putting that at an A tier, not quite S tier, but a good A tier. This thing got panned, I think, somewhat unfairly for what it was. Like, it's a Megaton in the end. It's going to be a bunch of re-release cards, different rarity options, particularly with Runic and Kashtira and the Bestials. The Bestials went from super rare, I think, mostly in Darkwing Blast to Prismatic Ultra Rare, Prismatic Secret Rare, something like that. In this, so Magnamut looks great, Fenrir looks great in this pack. You're also getting Labyrinth, Runics, Exosisters. I think there's Naturias in here as well. Like, this pack had a lot of stuff. You have Blue Eyes Jet Dragon and Tomias. Some Dark Magician and Blue Eyes support there, which are always popular because they're always good to have extra printings of, because Blue Eyes, particularly the Blue Eyes cards, are always way overpriced given how good they actually are and how viable they are. But I think this tin was actually decent. Like, the tin was ugly. Like, there's no really denying that. The cover wasn't particularly attractive, but you got some. There was a lot of cards. Maybe that, like, that criticism that there is just too many cards in this tin, like too many archetypes were covered, that you can't really just like go buy 2 or 3 of these things, even like 5, and walk out of there and be like, perfect, I have a functioning Runic engine, or a functioning, like, maybe if you're lucky you get enough Bestials, or 2 copies of Fenrir, or some Therions. Therion King Regulus was in here, which was nice for Sprite, or not Sprite, for Rescue Ace, especially pre-Agov. Therion King Regulus was used as a shield, essentially, for the back row, as a negate. But there's a lot in this tin to like. I think having the kind of the promo quarter century secret rare of one of the like protagonist cards, and Zane, because Cyber Dragon, and I guess Jesse's also in there with Rainbow Dragon. But I think for the most part, like, this tin is actually a decent product. Like, Kurikara wasn't in there, but like, Kurikara, before like it beat Kashtira, wasn't even getting played anyway, and like, I guess now you'd play it against Pearly, maybe, like, what, sure, cool, you can play it against Noir to get rid of it, but you can use a Kaiju to do the same thing. So Kurikara Div Incarnate not being included in this tin was just a bunch of like over complaining, in my opinion. I think the tin was fine, actually. So moving on, Agov, or Age of Overlord. It's the last core set for the year. It released in October. It was a big one. You had SP Little Knight, at an ultra rare, or secret rare. I think it was a secret rare. Now I can't remember. Either way, very hard to pull, very expensive card, 150, $100 depending on your currency. You have the Diabellstar engine, including the Black Witch herself, as well as Wanted, some other Snake Eye stuff in there as well that right now isn't seeing as much use, but will probably see a lot more use after Phantom Nightmare comes out in February of 2024. But I think this one is going to be an S tier just because of its impact, with like having a card of that demand is like that of SP Little Knight is just going to get you put to the top of the list. Overall, like, commons and whatnot, there's some decent stuff in here. The Snake Eye stuff is cool to get that started. Wanted, I mean, the biggest issue with this set is that everything in it was locked into like high rarity. Like, there wasn't a lot of stuff. I guess maybe you can make an argument that, like, what is it, Exceed the Pendulum was like a super rare. Great, cool, nobody plays pendulums anyway. But that was in there, and I guess that's fine. Moving on, This is an interesting one. Amazing Defenders. In January or February, whenever this deck released, it probably would have been generous to put it in C tier. Probably was a D tier. Like Rescue Ace was unplayable, Pearly was unplayable, and Makanko was unplayable, all out of the box. Like it was not a good deck build pack. Now you have all three of them having tops. Rescue Ace has multiple, Pearly has multiple, Makanko's one. I think it was a three. I think it was a team event, but they still won a YCS. Rescue Ace has won a YCS. I believe Pearly has won a YCS as well. Like all of them are competitive. Rescue Ace is still dominating in the OCG with Fire King now with like the Sinful Spoil, not Fire Kings, but Sinful Spoils and Snake Eye combos. It's just like now it's easily in A tier. Honestly, it could probably be in S tier. It's just yeah. It went from being like when I bought my copies of Hydrant, it was a $4 card, and now it's like a $50 card. Battles of Legends, bunch of. I think this was Monstrous Revenge. I'm gonna put this one in D tier. I don't think there was anything particularly hype worthy with this set. I don't think it was a particularly strong set. I don't think like what was there? Hydrox was the cover card, and there was a couple of reprints, but I'm having a hard time think of anything in there that was particularly valuable. All right, moving on to another core set, and the last of Series 10. Syac is going in B. Syac had like a lot, like cyber support. They had some other like smaller levels of support for things like, well, what seemed small at the time, but you had Quem in there for Brandon / or if you're Joshua Schmidt, Bestial Runic. And now Quem is like a $60 card, if not more. But when it came out, I don't think Syac had quite that much hype. Again, cyber support, which as if they needed that. But there you go. All right, Dune. Dune is gonna be our first C tier. Dueling Nexus or Duelist Nexus was like it came with the two Rescue Ace support cards that, like, for me as a Rescue Ace player, was very hyped to get a copy of Preventer and Emergency and find them both be commons. Like from a rarity distribution perspective, I think Duelist Nexus was actually a really good set. Testina stuff kind of was in there, and it clogged up some of those higher rarity values, which was fine because nobody cares to play Testina. There's not a lot of high value cards in this particular set. Like everything, even the quarter century secret rares are not particularly valuable, but overall, not particularly exciting set. About as mid as it gets. Moving on to this is kind of a promotional one. I'm gonna put this in. I'm gonna put this in B tier, simply because I have a lot of Duel Monsters nostalgia. When you have like red, blue, and yellow printings of Ra, Slifer, and Obelisk, I'm gonna buy it. You had a chance to get them in quarter century as well, and they look really nice in quarter century. And then you also had a chance to get a Red Eyes, Blue Eyes, or Dark Magician, but not the original one, the tablet Dark Magician. The original one was actually included in this, which is another reason to like this, because that original Dark Magician art, I have one in Quarter Century Secret Rare. It looks great, and it's probably the most valuable card. But it's a $25 card. If your most valuable card in a set is $25, that's not too bad. That just means the rarity distribution is probably really good. Agoff could have taken some advice. But then you get the 5 promo pack, or 5 packs from the original 5. So you have what? Legend of Blue Eyes, Spell Ruler / Magic Ruler, Metal Raiders, Pharaoh's Servant, and cannot remember the 5th. That's on me. Oh well, it can't be that important because most of those decks weren't, or the sets weren't good outside of LOB and Spell Ruler. But yeah, overall, a bit pricey in Canada. It was like a $40 to $50 product for 5 packs and a couple of promo cards, but yeah, it looked nice and it was kind of cool. A nice way to start off the 25th anniversary celebrations. Here we are to Soul Burning Volcano. I don't think this is still in alphabetical order. Soul Burning Volcano, I'm going to put in C because I have a soft spot for Volcanics and Salamangreat. I mean, this thing has been kind of beaten over the head, and I think the point has been made on enough pack opening channels and other channels kind of talking about Yu-Gi-Oh products and sales that this product was terrible for retailers. The game stores I've been to, they have tons of copies still. One place I play was selling it for $40 Canadian, which is like $30 American. Like, there's no way they're making money on this, but it's unfortunate because there was stuff in here to like volcanic support. Not that it was going to make volcanics meta competitors, but it could push it up to rogue. Like, you could bring it to a locals and actually have fun playing something like this. Salamangreat support, but overall just a bit of a dud in a year where a lot of fire cards got a lot of good support. I mean, they got the support, Volcanics and Salamangreat did, but just not a great product, unfortunately. All right, LOB, and I just threw all 5 of them in there because they were all released the same date, and they all kind of have the same purpose. A, nostalgia bait, and B, kind of put some cards back in the pool that really a lot of people don't have access to easily. I'm gonna put this one in. I'm gonna put on the strength of LOB and Spell Roller. It's going into A tier. I don't. Nah. It's gonna go in B. It's just not good enough to be an A tier. It's not Rescue Ace, McConco, or Pearly, but it was a nice piece of like nostalgia. Like, it was really fun to just buy like 5 packs of LOB, a couple packs of each of these, and just go and play with friends and be like, hey, like, remember 2001 Yu-Gi-Oh? And your card text was limited to, this creature is at a power of unimaginable destruction and has 1200 attack and 800 defense. Sold his soul. But overall, decent product. Kind of a nostalgia trip on the 25th anniversary. Not a bad way to do it. Moving on. Maze of Memories. Maze of Memories is... Maze of Memories might be a B tier just by virtue of the fact that it had a Barone reprint and it had Gate Guardian stuff. I'm going to put it in B tier because this is my list and I don't care. It has Gate Guardian support. Who doesn't like Gate Guardian? It has some Blackluster Soldier stuff in there too. It has a Barone reprint, taking Barone from a $100 card to an $80 card. Incredible value. Overall, like, obviously the Gate Guardian cards weren't particularly like meta viable or anything, but fun deck, super cheap. And the rarity distribution on those Gate Guardian cards was incredible. Like, super rare for Gate Guardians combined. Like, what more do you want? Not a bad set at all. Proton Hypernova. I think you're gonna have to put Proton Hypernova in A by virtue of the fact that it had Arise Heart in it, and made Kashtira as good a deck as it was. Like, Arise Heart is a meta-defining card. It's a pack-defining card. Maybe not as important as SP Little Knight because of its generics, the fact that it's generic, but I think Kashtira Rise Heart on its own pushes Proton Hypernova into that status. Like, and it had some cool stuff too for Galaxy Eye support. Like, but overall, yeah, I think A tier is fair for that. Like, you have a meta-defining pack here, just by virtue of the fact that, yeah, Arise Heart was in it. And boom, the 25th collection, S tier. This product is what we've been waiting for. Rarity distributions across the board. Staples, nothing but staples. You've got even stuff for Edison format in here and GOAT format. Like, what more do you want from a product than what you have in this? You had Ash Blossom, you had Barone, you have Evenly Matched. I got 3 copies of Evenly Matched from this. That's why it came to mind so quickly. But just packed with staples, packed with value cards, like being able to get Barone in super rare when it's an $80 card by the time Maze of Memories came out. Like, why wouldn't you? Like, buy a box of this thing and you're getting nothing but absolute value. Great set. All right, so now we got 3 structure decks in a row here. Structure decks are kind of a bit tough because none of them are really meta like varying. Maybe Fire Kings will be one day, but I'm gonna put Trap Tricks in B tier, just because you had some decent staples in there. Trap Tricks itself was actually a pretty viable strategy, like a rogue strategy. It wasn't gonna beat up on anything like meta, but it could hold its own. It had some good staples in here. That's good enough for a B tier status. Same with Crimson King. Crimson King, it's kind of a nice way. I think it's actually a really good deck for people to learn. Like, I mean, the Resonator engine is a strong engine to begin with if you're going into synchros, especially Dark Dragon synchros. Like, if you want to cosplay Jack Atlas, feel free. There's some, yeah, I mean, Red Hot Dragon Archfiend King Calamities in there. So if you're playing Centurion and you want to lock people out of playing, Crimson Dragon was in here. There you go. But overall, it didn't have as good a staples as the Trap Tricks structure deck did. I think it had Pot of Extrav, and I don't even think it had. It didn't have Ash, and it didn't have Imperm. So kind of mediocre on staples, but overall, like, not a bad way to kind of learn how to play Dragon Sync. I'm gonna put, this is the only structure deck, Fire King structure deck. Just picked it up a couple days ago. Oh, really nice structure deck. You've got Imperm, you've got Droll and Lockbird in there. So for staples, right there, that's enough. Like, Imperm will always, unless it gets power crept by something else, Imperm will always be a valuable card to have as a hand trap. And then the Fire Kings themselves look like they're going to be very strong. They're benefiting from a whole lot of fire support around them, but in the OCG, Fire Kings are actually meta competitive to an extent. They're getting representation. I think, yeah, I'm excited to see what happens with Fire Kings once Phantom Nightmare releases. Yeah. Moving on to our last two, we have Valiant Smashers. I think the jury is tough on Valiant Smashers because it hasn't actually seen any support yet. I think Phantom Nightmare has some support for the, what are they called? The Mementolans, which are kind of cool. I like them. I've played a bit of them. They've been an exciting, like, they're kind of cool. They have a cool boss monster. They're really, actually, a really consistent engine to get, like, you can get your boss monster on the field really easily with this deck, with Mementolan, but it's still pretty mid-tier. It's not particularly, like, dominant, and never, like, not Sulfur what is it? Oh, it's something with a V now. Now it escapes me, of course. Vena, whatever. Put it in the comments if you know what it is, and you get a thumbs up from me. Valmonica, that's it. Valmonica, nobody cares. And then Centurion seems to be the one that people care about the most. It seems like okay right now. It's pretty mid at best. It's just like Turbo Calamity Lock, which kind of sucks. If that's your entire game plan, like, great, yeah, Calamity Lock's effective, but it's not exactly what I'd call fun. Not engaging gameplay, but yeah, this one's going to be in D tier. I mean, honestly, like, where Rescue Ace is, like, it could have been down here if this was done in January of last year, like, when it came out. It was not a good. Amazing Defenders was terrible. But now it's not. Now it's really, really good. Centurion seems to be the one that people think will do that. I don't know. I think the Mementolans have a chance to really do something here if they get some half decent support, because they are really consistent. Like, you can get your boss monster out turn one almost every turn. Like, there's a lot you can do with a Mementolan hand. And finally, the last product alphabetically for 2023. Wild Survivors. You're gonna go. There's a lot in B tier. This was a very mid-year, and I'm gonna put Wild Survivors in B tier. Wild Survivors had like I think you could, like, what was it? There was the one, was it Dortmund? YCS Dortmund that Vanquish Soul ended up winning. But overall, like, it hasn't quite performed to the level people expected it to. Nouvelle isn't, like, meta competitive. It's a cool deck. Like, it plays cool. It's a cool way to do removal. It's a cool way to play rituals, which really, like, there's not a lot of reasons to play rituals in 2023, going into 2024. But, oh, and then you have the dinosaurs, and dinosaurs are always cool, so I'm going to put that one there. So yeah, there we go. That's what 2023 had to show. I think it shows that 2023 was a pretty mid-year overall, outside of a couple of highlights. You have, yeah, not much here to talk about. But I think, like, yeah, amazing defenders, but I don't know. I think having only one of your deck building packs actually show, like, three, like, having, like, any meta competitive decks being all contained in the same one. Again, that's not to say that things from, like, Wild Survivors and Valiant Smashers can't be, because Amazing Defenders was crap when it came out too. So, not to say that it's impossible, but, like, products like, honestly, this could probably, like, this could probably be in D tier. It was bad. Like I'm letting the blinders because I am a fan of, like, Salamangre, and the volcanic stuff was really cool, but it was bad. Like, it was bad. There's, like, my local game shop has, like, 8 of these just sitting there gathering dust. If they put them for $40, I'll buy some. But yeah, the Battles of Legends was pretty meh too this year. Next year's Battles of Legend, I think, is Chapter 1. Looks like it'll be a lot more exciting. Structure decks were all pretty decent this year. Same with last year. Like, I think we've been on, what, 3 years now of solid structure decks. Like, last year we had Crystal Beast, Dark World, and the Albaz one. I think it was, yeah, I think Albaz was the first one. And those are all 3 really good structure decks. And then you've got 3 more really strong structures. Nothing to complain about there. Core sets were pretty well spread out. You had an S tier, an A tier, a B tier, a C tier. That's about as good as it's gonna get. Would have been nice. Like, Dune almost belongs a bit higher because its rarity distribution was so good. I think, at least, like, especially in hindsight with Agov's Tistina support coming out and Tistina sucking, it was kind of like, oh, when it first came out, I was like, oh, this kind of sucks that Dune has, like, the new TCG archetype, Tistina, and it's all, like, ultra rares. This kind of sucks. And it's like, then it came out with, like, the support, and it was like, oh no, never mind. Cool. I'm glad they ate up some ultra rare spots with garbage like Tistina. But yeah, that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and yeah, have a great one. Bye.